Hey everybody, welcome to the Watch This Podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And today we are going to be paying tribute to the late, great Betty White, talking about 2009's Proposal, a rom-com that Devon has never seen, and I feel like he's lived part of, so we'll get into that.
I have.
Too close to home.
Yeah.
But besides that, how you guys doing? It's been a crazy week for me, and we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show. But how was your guys' New Year's celebrations?
As anticlimactic and boring as always, and that's Kristen and I are not really New Year's people unless we're invited somewhere, and we're never disappointed if we're not invited. It's one of those things where, it's like, do you want to go to a party? Has anybody asked you? No? Okay, let's just go to sleep by 10, like we always do. New Year's Day was kind of the same thing, just kind of, chill, more or less. So
yeah.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah, mine was nice. So the deal here is that I have a pretty high, comparatively speaking, for London, I have a pretty high-rise flat. I have 7 stories onto mine. The one across the way is 10 stories. And we can get up onto their rooftop garden. So we went up onto the rooftop garden. And on New Year's Eve at midnight, everybody lights up all of these fireworks. And everyone has all of their kind of own little mini fireworks displays. So we got to see a whole bunch of fireworks displays in this whole cool 360 view around us.
That's cool.
So pretty. Yeah, we took our dog up there, so he had a special moment this year as well. So, and then New Year's Day, I usually do this thing where my family makes pork and sauerkraut. I always make fake pork. And it's for good luck. Yeah. And I feel like, you know what? Forget it. This year I'm making my own luck. So I made anything else. So we'll see how that works out with my luck this year.
What did you end up making?
I made... God, I think it was just pizzas. I made pizzas.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
Crazy.
I usually do the pork and sauerkraut thing too. We were at an Airbnb with my wife's friends from Penn State, and they didn't do pork and sauerkraut. I'm like, that's fine. I don't have to have pork and sauerkraut. But lunch on New Year's Day was soup and sandwiches. And I'm not a big tomato soup fan, and I definitely could not eat chicken noodle soup on New Year's Day because chicken scratch backwards, and it's bad luck to have chicken on New Year's Day.
Is that a thing?
That's a thing. Yeah. It's a superstition. And I was like, I'm not eating chicken noodle soup, so I went to Five Guys.
I love it.
Yeah.
Wait, you got tomato soup from Five Guys?
No, I went to Five Guys and got
Five Guys.
Yeah, I just got Five Guys.
God.
I was like, I'm not feeling soup. I'm a bit hungover, so I want Five Guys.
So just like Christmas, I'm discovering new traditions. I've got to be the most boring person in the world. When it comes to Christmas, you guys were talking about all of your stuff that you guys do. Yeah. I am your boring generic Christmas morning stuff that happens. None of this other stuff. And then New Year's, same thing. I've never done any of this other type of stuff, tradition things.
So we were muted that whole time. I guess Streamlabs did not unmute us until just now. So thank you, friend of the show, Romana, for pointing that out. Let's just get back into this from here.
Did we at least look cool when we were muting?
Yeah, I guess. We already started the show and we have it recorded, so we'll keep that for later. And I'll just fix it in post for YouTube, I guess. I'll just have to take it down. I'm making more work for myself. It's been a week. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Watch This Podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And we're trying this again.
Let's do it.
So, yeah, I don't think we really need to get in. We all had a good New Year's. That's pretty much it. Devon made pizza. I had a burger. Ryan, what did you
I did nothing. I did nothing. I mean, I don't really... sushi.
Oh, that sounds good, though.
McDonald's. Actually, no. I guess New Year's Day is kind of there's no such thing as calories for Kristen and I, and that's the one day of the year that we get fast food for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wonderful.
Pretty much. So, yeah, okay. So there is something that we do.
It's a good tradition. I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, let yourself have that day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess so. If you're just tuning in or just now hearing what we're talking about today, we'll be paying tribute to the late great Betty White we had Devon watch the 2009 film The Proposal with Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds. And we've got a lot of other Betty White things to talk about. Originally today was supposed to be I Make the Guys Watch MacGruber. That did not happen. When I heard John Madden passed away, I was like, oh, we're going to watch the one movie John Madden was in. And that was the plan for the show. And then Betty White passed away. I guess we got to do that one big movie Betty White was in. But besides the Betty White stuff that that we're going to get into later, have you guys watched anything recently?
No.
I have actually. Antlers. Have you guys heard of it before now? Or
hold on, is that the one with the guy Daniel Radcliffe, or am I thinking of Horns?
No, you're thinking of Horns. Yeah.
Dang it! Then no, I have no idea.
Yeah, horny bastard.
So Antlers is a 2021 horror suspense movie that is actually very interesting. It's all based around a native legend. It takes place in Oregon, and it's actually really good. Kristen and I like to ask each other on a 10-point scale how we felt about it. She was a 9, I was an 8.
Wow.
On it, and only because the ending was a little bit too not predictable, but a little too oh man, you couldn't have done this a little bit better. The story was so good. It was one of those things. But what it is that it's a premise of possession, but not Catholic, possession, more native possession. And this thing goes around eating people. And it all has to do with a family, and there's a teacher involved, and her brother's the town sheriff. There's a lot of people in it, surprisingly. The cast is interesting. I highly recommend it.
Okay.
I really, really do.
I mean, from what you said, it sounds like there's a lot of good horror movie tropes in there, town sheriff who's good guy and gonna get to the bottom of it. There's potential family relationship problems, probably where the hauntings are happening. It sounds interesting.
And the one thing I will tell you to kind of let you know just a little bit how far this movie goes, the possession, the end game is that the person's body is basically a cocoon.
Weird.
The effects are amazing, and they do actually show the thing eventually. So it's not just teasing you throughout the whole movie and never shows you what the thing looks like. They do eventually show. Oh yeah, it is.
Okay, because I've seen Bird Box before and I've gotten burned.
Yeah, no, this is. I would say Antlers is better than Bird Box.
That's easy to do, man.
I know it's easy to do, but there was a lot of hype around Bird Box.
There was
you just had to bring up Bird Box. It's the Betty White show, not the Sandra Bullock show. Let's leave Bird Box out of it. I didn't pull any posters for anything, but I finally watched No Sudden Moves on HBO, the Don Cheadle, Benicio del Toro, Brendan Fraser movie.
Yeah.
I was confused. I really enjoyed it. And I was like, the camera work was interesting to me because the way they used anamorphic lenses was bizarre to me because the image really warped in the background when the camera's moving with them. And I was like, is this an intentional choice? Why are they doing this? And it was an intentional choice. It was a choice, and it was distracting at first, but then I got used to it. But I absolutely love everyone in this film. It was a lot of fun, and I highly recommend it. I'd say we do it for the show, but you guys watched it because I made you, but I don't remember making you.
Yeah, we've all seen it now.
Yeah, so we can't do it for the show. But I also watched the Death to 2021
Did you like it?
which
I
was
watched it too.
it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I need to check those out every year. But other than that, I've kind of just been watching Betty White stuff.
Oh, have you?
Yeah, because SNL re-aired the episode that she hosted in 2010 on Saturday night. I think we're going to get into our tribute now for Betty White. SNL re-aired the episode that she hosted with for Mother's Day back in 2010, where they brought in like all of the female greats from SNL. So Tina Fey, Amy Poehler, Maya Rudolph, they all came back. And like just to help Betty White a little bit, but not that Betty White needed the help. It was also to like give the rest of the cast like a week off, I guess. And I forgot how stacked SNL was in 2010. Fred Armisen, Bill Hader, Jason Sudeikis, Kristen Wiig, MacGruber, Will Forte, that's his name.
Forte.
Keenan was still there back then. He's still there now. I think Keenan's the only one who's still there. Bobby Moynihan was still in the featured cast. Like, it was a phenomenal group of people, and like just seeing Betty White act with those people, and then all the SNL greats like Molly Shannon and Anna Gasteyer doing the everyone loves my muffins sketch. Like, instead of the sweaty balls, it was my muffins. I absolutely love that episode. What about you guys? What have you been like when you think of Betty White? What do you think of?
I feel like I have the worst possible association with Betty White because I have a weird one. It's Mama's Family, which I don't know that anyone knows about, and was shocked to hear that you were like at least familiar with it. So Mama's Family is this like sitcom that, I don't know, aired in the past, but I have this really weird special connection to it where, I don't know if you knew this about me, Alan, but every day before I got on our collective bus to go to our school,
you would watch Mama's Family.
An hour of Mama's Family before I got on the bus. Not because I liked Mama's Family, not because I wanted to watch Mama's Family, but because that's what my grandma wanted to watch, and I just sat there waiting for the bus with her.
I did know this because there were several times where I would miss our bus, and just my parents would drive me to your house because it was further along the bus route, and you would just be watching Mama's Family when I got there.
But it is always on TV, like, and it was just on. So it's just, I mean, I have seen probably every episode of Mama's Family 3 or 4 times now because it happened every year at high school. So like, this is what I know Betty White from, and she's phenomenal in it. I hate the show, but she's phenomenal.
Ryan, how about you? What is your Betty White go-to?
Lake Placid.
Hold on, I've never seen Lake Placid. What is she in this?
It is a movie I'm going to be having you guys watch here soon. She plays, and the memes are out there, so I'm just going to say it. So Lake Placid is a movie where a like 25-foot alligator winds up in a lake in Maine. And they're trying to figure out why it's there, how it got so big, and it turns out that Betty White and her late husband, who was eaten by the thing, were taking care of it. And she lies to the cops, she lies to the characters trying to save it, and she cusses out a few cops in the movie. It's hysterical. And then there's a scene where she leads a cow blindfolded down to the edge of the lake to feed it.
Yeah, that's the picture we have up now, is her leading the cow down.
One of my favorite lines or scenes of it is... one of my favorite clean lines that she has, or scenes, is when she's describing how she killed her husband, because she couldn't take him anymore, so she hit him over. No, he was suffering and he was sick, so he asked her to kill him, and so she took a skillet and bashed him over the head and buried him under the bulkhead. And then he tells the cops, "You can dig him up, he's there." And of course she's lying because she's trying to protect the fact that the alligator ate him, because she doesn't want the cops to like kill the alligator. that was my first real, like, that's Betty White, and like she's from Golden Girls, and so like that's my connection to Betty White, and like that's like whenever I think of Betty White, I just think of her, trying to save the alligator in Lake Placid.
The your description of Lake Placid reminds me of her. She had a arc on the show Boston Legal, which stars a bunch of Star Trek people. It's got William Shatner.
Oh, that was
on
Boston Legal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got William Shatner and James Spader as the two head lawyers of this law firm, but Betty White was on as a client of theirs, who fell into a relationship with this man named Bernard. I think it doesn't really matter, but he had gotten off. The lawyers had gotten him off on a murder charge, even though he did it. Like they got him off, and she was dating him. And then she just comes in and is like, yeah, he was a murderer, so I killed him. And like does it like the most Betty White way. She like whacks him with a frying pan. And it's a great arc. It's a great show. If you haven't watched Boston Legal, I highly recommend it because the chemistry between William Shatner and James Spader is phenomenal. But I also know Betty White from the Golden Girls, and we're going to get into that. But for me, she has a great 2-episode joke on The Simpsons. So the first time Betty White appears on The Simpsons, she's running the PBS like telethon fundraiser that Homer is annoyed at, that is interrupting his show, and so he calls in and makes the donation so they'll just bring the show back, and he thinks he does it anonymously. But then Betty White's like, and thanks to tracking systems, we're able to say that our anonymous donor was Homer J. Simpson of 42 Evergreen Terrace. He's like, why did I? Yeah. But the better joke is like a few seasons later when Homer becomes a paparazzo. He's going around taking photos of all the celebrities in Springfield. It's like, no one will stop it. No celebrity will stop and let me take their picture. They're all ignoring me. And then Betty White just walks up to him on the street like, oh, hi, Homer. How's Marge? How's Maggie? And like, like is like having a really nice conversation with Homer. And he like snaps her a picture quick. And she's like, oh, thanks for taking my picture. If you want it signed, here's a pre-stamped and addressed envelope to send it in. Which I think is just a fantastic joke. And like pure Betty White. Like that, if a celebrity who was on The Simpsons was going to do that, it probably would be Betty White. But the big thing that we all know her from is the Golden Girls. As you can see, this is not my stuff. This is all my wife's. At least most of it is.
It can be your stuff. I love that mug.
Yeah.
That is perfect.
Yeah. So she played Rose Nyland on the Golden Girls. She was the last cast member of the Golden Girls to pass away. So there were a lot of memes I saw over the weekend of they're all gathering for cheesecake in heaven right now. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. Like, B. Arthur did not like Betty White. They did not get along. Oh yeah, they had some falling outs. Like, yeah. So I don't think it was as peaceful on that set as people would like to think it was. But what do you like, Devon? You watched a lot of Mama's Family. What's your familiarity with the Golden Girls?
It almost felt like it was like a rival TV program, and it was just not allowed in our house. I think I know the theme song because everyone knows the theme song, but I think that's all I know from it. I don't think I've seen even a second of it.
Devon, can you sing me the theme song? I'm blanking on it right now.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. I think they say the word confident real weird. They go confidant. And that always, do, yeah. I think about it sometimes. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why either. But yeah. Ryan, how about you? What's your connection to Golden Girls?
I'm sorry. I'm stuck on Devon and
Confidant.
The whole confidant. And
why?
Like, that's an actual like thing. Like, you're my confidant. Like,
yeah, but they meant to say the word confident, and they say it like the other word confidant.
Are you sure that they were supposed to mean the other pronunciation?
Yeah, I don't
not
think
that
I
one?
don't think they meant the other pronunciation because that doesn't really make
It
sense
would-
in the words of the song.
Yeah, it'd be like "You're my confidant" or something like that, or
Yeah.
"You're all my confidants." Like I don't think you can be I don't think you can be confidant, and it's not. Yeah, confident someone to confide in. Like it's like somebody that you can confide in. Like yeah, I mean I'll have to.
Your heart
rewatch
is
it.
true. You're a friend and a confidant.
Oh, and a confidant.
Yeah,
Oh
Yeah.
wow, boy did I mishear that word then. Never mind.
Okay, so yeah, because
you're a pal and a confidant.
because
I'm sorry, chat's correct.
because-
Got it.
because those are two different definitions almost for like
They
the
are.
pronunciation. That's why I'm like, I don't think they would keep the song the same for as many seasons as they had it if
If they
it
like
was
misspelled
wrong.
a word.
Exactly. So, but my connection to Golden Girls is just it randomly being on some nights when I'm flipping through the channels and I
Yeah.
stop and watch it. I mean, there was never a bad episode. There was never an episode where the jokes don't stop. And it's one of those things where it was a show I never searched out for to watch, but it was a show that if it was happening to be on and it was like and it was a weekday and I'm home, I'd leave it on.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So I have a surprise for the show. Do we want to do it now or do we want to do it later?
I want to know what it is.
Today is also National Trivia Day. So I have some Golden Girls trivia we can get into before we get into today's main topic. if you
Yes,
guys
good.
want. I don't know
Yes,
how.
I also have my own piece of trivia too.
Okay, I don't know how Devon's going to do considering he's never watched the show.
I'll be fine.
But your first question is, what was the name of the character featured as the girl's cook in just one episode?
Charlotte McFadden.
That is incorrect. Ryan, would you like?
Dang it!
Would you like to steal?
you cut out for like 5 seconds there, so all I heard was cook.
Yeah, what was
And
the
then,
name of the
like-
cook in the pilot episode? I'll even give you that hint.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't even
Wait.
think I've ever seen the pilot episode.
So in the pilot episode, the Golden Girls have a cook, a very flamboyant cook who works for them in the kitchen, is like very sassy. He disappears after one episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
what's his name?
Coco.
Coco.
Yeah.
That's a good sassy character name.
Yeah. Okay. Well, each of the main actresses eventually won an Emmy for her role. Which actress won first?
Betty White.
No.
Just saying,
It's got to
just
be.
saying.
I hate that she played Blanche.
B. Arthur.
B. Arthur. It's B. Arthur.
It was Betty White for playing Rose.
Dang it!
I just threw that out there. I had no idea.
I always picture it's weird. I always picture B. Arthur as like the bigger of the stars. I guess of the two
Yeah.
of them. Am I wrong? Is it because she was on the Star Wars Holiday episode, and that's why I think she's a bigger star?
Yes, probably. I mean, Betty White was on the Mary Tyler Moore show, but no, it was the Star Wars Christmas special that put B. Arthur ahead of her.
Yeah.
I had a feeling.
Yeah. Which Golden Girl claimed to have 56 boyfriends in 1 year?
Oh, I know this one. It's the. I don't know her name. It's the older one, the oldest one.
Yeah.
Sophia?
I'm
Maud?
going with
Is it Sophia? That one.
Sophia.
No, it was Rose.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah. In St. Olaf, they got around. Which Golden Girl appeared on an episode of Blossom? Whoa.
I have no idea. What's
Is it
Blossom?
Betty White?
No, it was Sophia.
Aw.
Blossom was the Mayim Bialik show from the 90s with Joey Lawrence. She wore funny hats.
Okay.
It's where Mayim
remember
Bialik
that.
was a child star. So
Mileman.
Mayim Bialik, she's hosting Jeopardy now.
Oh, I haven't seen Jeopardy in years, so I mean,
All right.
hang on. Oh, I had no idea that they actually picked someone official for that yet.
She's one of them.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Ryan's impressed.
I don't know these people. I don't.
Okay. Well, why was I'm sorry. Why was the runner-up disqualified from St. Olaf's Women of the Year award, resulting in Rose taking the award?
She slept with the judges. One of the judges.
Ryan, what is your guess?
I don't. She used pine tar. I don't know.
She had a skeleton in her closet. Her husband.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh. I'm going to have to watch this show.
Like I said, Devon, it's a good show. I just haven't seen it. Like, I haven't, I've seen random spots of random episodes.
Well, here's my only Golden Girls trivia. In the UK,
go for it.
It is on Disney Plus, making the Meech a Disney princess.
Okay. Well, last question, tying back
Okay.
into something we talked about a little bit earlier. What was the title of the Golden Girls Golden spinoff?
Oh my gosh, I actually used to know this one. Shoot, now I'm actually really mad at myself.
Dusty Girls?
That hurts.
I get it because they're old.
It was just one of them, right? Like they only followed one of them in this spin-off.
No, they followed three of them. 3 of the 4 came back.
I don't know. What is it?
The Golden Palace, starring
Really?
Rose, Blanche, and Sophia. B. Arthur didn't come back, but they had Cheech Marin and Don Cheadle join the cast.
What?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a thing that happened.
Is it good?
It has its moments. Like there's a whole thing with Don Cheadle and Blanche talking about the Confederate flag. Like
wow.
Like when that came up a few years ago, a lot like that clip resurfaced and people were talking about it. Like, yeah, we've been having this conversation for a while now. Like, but Golden Girls was always good at, with like dealing with heavy material. Like they would have very special episodes. I remember one that sticks out to me is one where Rose may have been affected with HIV. So they deal a lot with HIV and like handling it in a way that they're like debunking myths and rumors about it. And it was like very well, like as ditzy and dumb as the Rose character was on Golden Girls, Betty White gave a great performance in that episode. And, like they were great performances by all of the women all around. I think you definitely should give Golden Girls a shot there, Devon. Especially if it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, well, the more I keep hearing about it, the more it sounds like it just holds up. Like, it's not like Friends that, like, just kind of... I mean, it really doesn't hold up sometimes. Like, I heard Golden Girls definitely does.
Yeah, I mean, there's... Look at all the merchandise there is. Look at all of the stuff people buy that are our age. I mean,
Yeah.
And not just that, like shirts and posters, and you go on to like millennial owned like novelty t-shirt websites. You'll find a handful of Golden Girl shirts that have quotes and and silhouettes on them.
Yeah, yeah.
And then next time you come to town, we can play either Golden Girls Clue or Golden Girls Monopoly. Because I did
Hold
not
on,
have...
how is there Golden Girls Clue?
So instead of murder, you have to solve who ate the cheesecake. Because the big thing in Golden Girls, they would always gather around the kitchen table and eat cheesecake together.
So is it like different eating utensils? Like it was Blanche in the bathroom with the spork or something?
I don't know. I have not played it.
You haven't played it? Okay, well, we're playing it when I'm back in town.
Yeah.
The answer is
absolutely.
always Sophia.
Good.
Picture it. Sicily, 1918. Yeah. All right. So one thing. The other thing I wanted to talk about, because like I said before, we were supposed to watch MacGruber for today. When I was watching the SNL special or episode with Betty White, I forgot that she was in a sketch with MacGruber, playing MacGruber's grandmother. And I sent it to you guys. Did you guys give that a watch?
I did, and it made me want to watch the whole Betty White episode.
I did watch it, yes.
Yeah.
Just imagine the MacGruber bits for like a 2-hour movie. Like that's what you have to look forward to. Minus Betty White.
I'd like that.
But MacGruber. Like it's coming.
I'd like it. I would like it.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink heavily.
MacGruber!
I don't find it. I'm sorry. I did not laugh once when I was watching that YouTube clip. I am sorry. I'm sorry.
See, I grew up thinking MacGyver was the coolest thing in the world because I was like that, like clever, like here's a chocolate bar and a ball of twine, and I made a helicopter. Like I thought that was really cool, and I love there's a parody of the thing I thought was cool.
I grew up around people, parents, family, who always made fun of MacGyver. So to me, it's been a joke since day one.
And then this is taking that joke too far.
And this is just kind of, to me, this is just like, okay, no, I was like, of all of the things, like, if it was up to me, I would have scrapped a movie about making fun of MacGyver and made a movie making fun of A-Team.
They did that, right?
No, have you not?
They made an A-Team movie, and I've seen that. But they have not done a MacGruber-style parody of A-Team.
I'll say this, and this is all I'm going to say on the topic before I move on. You need to see MacGruber the movie because it may be that.
We're going to watch it anyway.
It's not just him trying to defuse a bomb for 2 hours. It's a little
No,
bit
I
of what
figured
you
it
want.
wouldn't be like I was.
No, there's
I
definitely
figured it wouldn't be that.
There's definitely an A-Team parody aspect to the MacGruber movie, and I cannot wait to make you watch that.
Okay.
Devon, if you want to make that your pick for next week, I'm fine with it. You can steal it.
It might be. It very well might be.
All right, unless you can come up with a tie-in for Scream.
No, I can't.
All right, but today's main topic is the 2009 film starring Sandra Bullock and Ryan Reynolds, The Proposal, that had where Betty White had one of her biggest film roles. We talked a bit before about Lake Placid, and we were originally going to do a triple feature, but because of time constraints, we didn't have time to watch 3 movies for today. Devon, what was your pick going to be for this?
Mine was going to be Ponyo. It's the Miyazaki classic. She plays a voice in that.
Yeah. She's also a voice actress in the Lorax.
Yep.
But today we're talking about The Proposal, where Betty White played Grandma Annie, and we can get into that a little bit later. But in the film The Proposal, a pushy boss forces her young assistant to marry her in order to keep her visa status in the U.S. and avoid deportation to Canada. The weirdest thing about watching this movie for me recently is that Ryan Reynolds is the Canadian. And that kind of took me out. Like, I didn't know that in 2009, but now he's like all Canada all the time. So it was like, I remember watching this movie when it came out on DVD. I think like my mom had rented it from Blockbuster one weekend. So I saw it that way. Ryan, what's your history with The Proposal?
Kristen and I watched it once, like back in 2011 or 2012. And so I don't remember watching this. She does. So supposedly we watched it. I have no memory of it. So watching this was kind of like rewatching it for like the first time. As romantic comedies go, it's not in my top 10. I'll put it that way.
Okay.
Really?
To be honest, yeah, and we'll get into that later. And you guys know how I am about movies and stuff. I don't want to like rag on it. So,
All right, Devon. Since you're kind of new to this is about the 3rd or 4th rom-com we've had you watch on the show.
Yeah.
What did you think of The Proposal?
Absolutely loved it. I loved the hook. I liked the characters. I thought, I mean, as you mentioned a little bit earlier when I think we were muted, I lived part of this movie. So I like immediately had that like personal connection. I was like, oh, I know what they're doing. I thought it was great. I was all on board for all of it. And like, even the like romantic comedy parts of it where like you kind of knew like all right, they're gonna do that. Like, I still liked. And I still thought they did well, even though, like, yeah, it subverted my expectations in some ways, which I thought was really cool. And yeah, I'll of course get into all of that, but no, there was some weird problematic parts, but otherwise, aces. Great job.
Yeah. So Devon, I know you're a fan of The Office.
Yeah.
How do you feel about seeing that much of Oscar?
Loved it. Absolutely. I howled. Like, I think Romana was like doing something in the other room and she heard me be very loud. And I was like, Oscar's a stripper now, I guess. And a waiter and everything else.
He's just your everyman. You know what he's not, though? An accountant.
A U.S. citizen. Oh, no, he's not. Also a U.S. citizen?
I don't know. Did you watch the whole post-credit? Okay.
Yeah, he was doing I didn't know what his status was. It was great, though.
Just catching up with the chat. There are a couple episodes, HIV episodes of Golden Girls, and the other one had A Kid and Sophia. That's a good one to watch. It's a very special episode. Betty White was also one of the best parts of Ladies' Man.
I don't know if I've seen that.
It's a sitcom with Alfred Molina that Betty White plays his mom on.
Oh, fun!
Because they're related. They look related. And then To the Windows.
We'll talk.
Wall.
We'll have to talk.
Yeah. All right. So where do we want to start with this? Devon, you want to talk a little bit about your real life immigration experience?
Yeah, let's do that.
So I've gone through this process before. I mean, obviously I haven't gone through somebody faking it with me. I've gone through the real one. I really, really liked the whole, like, how they portrayed the whole, like, oh, you're getting deported. Well, let's do a quickie wedding. And then they, like, had to fill out the fiancé visa, which I've done before. And then they had to do, like, the interview, which I'm still waiting for after 5 years. So, like, there were parts of it that I thought were, like, you know, definitely expedited for the movie to be funny and to be, like, yeah, but we're still going through the process. And it's just so funny because it's so, like, it's so visceral because it's been 5 years of my life trying to go through if not longer, trying to go through this process and literally thousands of dollars. And I'm like, yeah, give me a movie that shits all over it, please.
Yeah. So even after 5 years, you haven't had to go through the whole interview process?
We got so before we left for the UK, we got a letter saying that they will be scheduling it soon and that we will be getting a letter letting us know when it will be scheduled, but we still haven't gotten that letter yet. Okay. So it'll happen, and I'm just as worried as they were.
How much do you think that's COVID, and how much do you think of that is just bureaucratic slacking?
Red tape.
I think it's a bit of both, honestly, because they're months and months and months behind, particularly when we filed it. We were in LA, and LA just has a lot of people filing for visas there, so we're in one of the more backed up places in the world. But also, I mean, COVID completely shut the government down.
Yeah. Also, in the chat, it looks like your wife is saying they don't do interviews anymore.
Oh, well, never mind then. My stress is gone. See, genuinely, my stress, because I know a lot about her, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen her family, and I could probably answer most of the questions. But some of me is worried that they'll ask some of the kinds of questions they asked in the post-credit scene of this movie, where it, like, seemingly has nothing to do with anything. Like, what's your favorite color outside of the house? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I was going to say, if you wanted to speed things along, just make it look like you're committing fraud, because they seem to jump right on that.
They had, like, the agent following them. It's like, come on.
So, just out of curiosity, do you guys have an immigration lawyer, or do you just go through the whole thing yourself?
We did it ourselves. I did a Leslie Knope-style immigration binder and mailed it to them. Yeah, they're apparently 3 years behind on the cases right now, so there's a lot of bureaucracy. But when I sent it to them, it was a binder like this thick of like every one of our correspondence from when we started meeting, when I met her, when I would fly over. I had the tickets and the airline receipts. I had like an index and then like a table of contents letting them know exactly what it was. I had an explainer page before each and every one of our documents. Like, I tried to make this thing as easy as possible for them. Stupid.
Did you get your promotion?
I didn't. It killed me.
Yeah, I can't. I can believe that they're 3 years behind. Because and I'm sure COVID hasn't helped with that. So, No, it's interesting because as I was watching this, I was like, I wonder what either Devon's gonna really like this or he's gonna hate this. I'm glad you liked it just for that aspect alone.
Loved it.
What do you guys think of the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock?
That's what I had the problem with. That's what I had
Tell me.
I do not like their chemistry in this.
Okay, so this was something. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. No, keep on going.
I was gonna say this is something I was thinking about with it because in a lot of it they don't have chemistry, and but kind of on purpose, right? Like she's supposed to be guarded, and he's supposed to be a bit, ugh, I hate that I'm doing this about it all.
Well, it's not that because that's purposely done. Like that's written into the movie. That's what the point is. These two people like butting heads. Like that's fine, and they did their parts well. I mean, you're talking about Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock. They're two, topless actors. They know what they're doing. But when it comes to these type of movies, what really gets me in a romantic comedy is if the two actors can really pull off working with each other, regardless if they're supposed to like each other or not in whatever given scene. And I just didn't feel that throughout this entire movie, regardless of what scene it was in. It was just like Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock working together. I didn't get any real connection between when it came to them working with each other, which is upsetting because I really like Sandra Bullock and I really like Ryan Reynolds. And I think that's why this movie I didn't remember seeing it because I kind of saw it and forgot it.
So part of me wonders, because in my mind, Sandra Bullock usually plays like a Ryan Reynolds type. Like they both play like the same kind of sarcastic, kind of fast talking under their breath, sarcasm characters. And I think when you get them both together, it doesn't mesh well because they're both kind of playing off of themselves and you don't really have that straight man.
True. Yeah. Because, well, even when she plays straight, and I'm going to use a movie that she was in called The Heat with Melissa McCarthy. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, if The Heat had a male cast instead of a female cast, I really feel like Sandra Bullock's character as a male would be best played by Ryan Reynolds. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Alan, you're right. They're pretty much, they've got the same comedic style, and I really think that might be my problem with it.
Yeah, and it's not like Sandra Bullock's really in her role is really going for the laughs here. And I think if you gender swap this, it would work just as well. And I think you would still have the same problem because I can see them both playing both of these roles.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Craig T. Nelson can only play the dad.
Yeah. And plus, some little side funny things. Whenever they were showing the mom, I couldn't help but wait for her to start yelling at someone because of Step Brothers.
Yep.
So there's that. But Betty White in this was great, and I know we'll get to that. But I mean, to me, no,
that's why we're here. That's why we're here.
Yeah, I know.
So
my favorite moments of the movie was when Betty White was doing, the whole grandma stuff, especially with like the blanket, and they were like, "We're just gonna put this over, here." Yep. And then when they're doing the end credits stuff, when they're doing the questions at the end, like those two parts of the film were my favorite, pretty much.
Devon, was there anything in here that stood out to you?
As far as Betty White's concerned, I mean, all of it. I liked most of her stuff. There was a subplot that they threw in with her that I didn't love, but I understand why it was there because of how it paid off with like the dress and the thing that she got and the whole like needing permission to marry and those kinds of things. Like they did genuinely try to pay it off and not make that one weird subplot as weird as it could have been. But I really liked her. I mean, I thought she was the most interesting family member for me to watch, I think. Like, I loved her at, like, the strip club. Like, I thought that was a fun place to put her. Like, no, yeah, she was great. She really was.
Yeah, she really still, like, outside of Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, she steals this movie. Like, Mary Steenburgen's just kind of there with her in every scene. and like lets Betty White do her thing. It's not like she's like competing for screen time with Betty White. She's like, I'm just gonna let you do your thing. Like this is, and it shows. Like Betty White has some of the funniest lines. Like when they're trying on the dress, like, and she's like, "Oh, I guess I was a bit bustier than you are," and it didn't help that I was pregnant at the time too. And the dress is just fitting Sandra Bullock like a piece of elephant skin. What do you guys think about the scene in the woods with Betty White and Sandra Bullock?
That was uncomfortable.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't.
No.
It was. I understand why they did that, because it was they made it that was genuinely her heritage. She was like 1/8 tribal or something, whatever the tribe was, 1/8 of it. And I like that she was then able to say, because my grandpa was this, I think it was Russian, and my grandma was part of that tribe, like they needed permission to marry. You were in a very similar situation. And that ended up being like kind of the sage words of advice that turned Sandra Bullock around. I think they could have done that without playing up a Native American ritual for laughs.
Yeah.
I think that's my big problem with it.
We've come a long way in the last 13 years.
We have.
Yeah.
Beyond that, though, I think she still has some of the best parts of this movie. I love the fact that she fakes a heart attack to get on a plane to get to the airport to help him try to stop her from leaving at the end.
Okay, this subverted my expectation. I actually liked this part because I thought, oh, okay, they're now on the plane. They're going to go to the airport. He's going to catch her on the runway because, of course, this plane's going to be the one that you walk on the tarmac to go up and not cross the bridge or not cross the jetway, and it didn't happen. And I actually really liked that because I pictured like this big romantic scene in an in front of an airplane or something, and it didn't happen. That's great to me.
Yeah.
Do that.
That, and it also grounded it in a bit of reality, because in no way is that ever going to happen.
Right.
It's not going to happen, no matter what you try to do.
But see, those are the kinds of things that really, really turn me off from rom-coms, is the end, like, big romantic gesture that has to happen either feels incredibly contrived because it's something that would never happen, but the logic of this movie somehow warped itself to make it work, or who cares about logic? They're on the top of the Empire State Building, and also for some reason Shaquille O'Neal's there, and fireworks are going off. Like that to me, that's every rom-com like end of Act 3, basically. And I'm glad they didn't do it.
Yeah.
Apparently, that was a hot take. You guys really cared about that.
No.
Great.
No, I agree with you. Like it does subvert. Like this movie does play with the expectations of a rom-com a bit. Like you have Ryan Reynolds as the assistant, where usually like in a rom-com it would be the other way around. Like I'm pretty sure Sandra Bullock did one where she was working for Hugh Grant and like they fell in love. I think that
was like just this movie.
2 weeks notice, yeah. But yeah, no, this film does play with those a little bit. I'm trying to think of other comedies that came out in 2009, and the only one I can think of is The Hangover.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So which role is more iconic? Betty White as the grandmother in The Proposal, or Zach Galifianakis as Alan in The Hangover?
I'm going to be honest. I know what I want my answer to be. I want my answer to be Betty White because I like the role, I think, better than I like what Zach Galifianakis in The Hangover has become.
Yeah.
But that's my personal preference.
And this movie really started a Betty White trend that went on and is still going, especially like with her passing. I don't think without this movie it would be as big of a deal as it was this past weekend.
Yeah.
Because after this, you had the Facebook petition to get her to host SNL. She had a new show, Hot in Cleveland, that aired on TV Land for several years. She was showing up in other movies. Like it really jump started her career again for the last 10 years. And I don't think you'd have that without her role in this.
Yeah, and I mean, weirdly enough, it was also the Snickers commercial that did it for me too. Do you guys remember that one?
Yeah, I remember that one. It's a
She was
classic.
playing football. Yeah, love it.
Got it.
If you can, I definitely recommend checking out the SNL, at least her monologue where she talks about the Facebook petition. And like, it's weird because I forgot the musical guest was Jay-Z.
Oh.
She's like, Jay-Z is here. And that feels weird to say. Like, I've never had to say that before, but it is what it is. Like, yeah, I really don't have much else to say about the proposal. I enjoy it. It's not one that I've watched repeatedly. It's a fun watch, especially for Betty White. I think Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock are good together. I think, if anything, they're too similar, and it makes it hard, like kind of hard to watch at times. But
I think the only thing that made it hard to watch for me was the fact that like Sandra Bullock was like, "We're gonna fake being in a relationship," and then proceeded to fight every second that she was being like asked to fake being in a relationship.
yeah,
Where he was like, "We have to kiss," and she's like, "Oh." It's like you knew this was going to come up, Sandra Bullock, at least once.
you're the one blackmailing me. Like, yeah,
Right.
Yeah, like, and I don't know. It's like whenever they had their own moments, like in the room, they'd have their conversations or mini fights in private, and that stuff just like it all fell flat for me. Even the physical comedy, where like they run into each other naked, because I could see obviously they want you to see the build up a mile away. And it was one of those things where it's like every second it took longer to happen than what I felt it needed to. It was just like, oh, come on. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. And then, you know, once it finally happened, it was like, that's all that happened? Even though they literally fell on top of each other. And it's like, how, you know, it's like, how much more embarrassing can that be? But it took so long to get there that it was like, okay.
Did you want like an American Pie moment where like Betty White then walked in the door followed by the dad and the mom with like breakfast
honestly
again?
If it was just one of the family members walked in on them by you know, like that would have made it a little bit
Like
better.
she was looking for the dog.
It's like something like that. But that's not what happened. It was just they bumped into each other and it was just embarrassing for both of them, not anybody else.
I'm rewriting the
You know?
scene. Betty White walks in and doesn't freak out, grabs the baby maker blanket, throws on top, and moonwalks out of it. That's the new scene in my head.
I like that. Oh, but by the way, I also looked up comedies that came out in 2009, and it's really hit or miss. Like it's really hit or miss. Land of the Lost with you know Will Ferrell, Couples Retreat, The Ugly Truth, Funny People, Fantastic Mr. Fox, I Love You Man, Fanboys, The Hangover. I could go on, but like Bruno. The men that stare, the men who stare at goats, and
like that
Mall
one.
Cop movie.
who are you talking about?
Paul brought Mall Cop.
2009 comedies.
2009 comedies. It was a really hit or miss year for comedies.
Yeah,
Really hit or miss. Year one that came out in 2009.
I forgot that was even a movie.
2005
Holy
movie.
cow. That was
Van Wilder. I thought that came out before then. Oh well.
So my wife is watching the show on delay, and I just heard her shout from the bedroom, "I love you, man!" Because to this day, I'll just go, "Slap on the bass."
That was really one of those quotable movies, though. A lot of people like quoted that.
Yeah. That's still one that I'll do. Like, I'll go to my brother-in-law's shows. I don't know if he's watching. And he's a bass player, so I'll just yell out, "Slap on the bass, Lou!" Like, and I get like a...
That's a good reaction to that.
But, yeah.
One of my favorite animated movies came out that year.
Tell me.
Monsters vs. Aliens.
You're going to have to make me watch that.
You've never seen Monsters vs. Aliens?
It had a very distinctly Cowboys versus Aliens feel that I was like, the premise is there. I've seen the movie.
I've never seen it either.
Your cynicism.
I'm assuming
kills you
xenomorphs are in it.
Xenomorphs?
Yeah.
Monsters Inc. versus
Yeah,
Xenomorphs.
versus the Xenomorphs.
You guys are
I
want to
see. I want to see Billy. I want to see that movie now. I want to see Billy Crystal and John Goodman go up against aliens with Ripley.
Betty White comes in, throws the baby maker on, the moon walks out. Got it.
I have to say, Monsters vs. Aliens is probably like one of my top 3 DreamWorks movies.
I really want to watch this now.
It's on the list. It's on the list.
All right. Anything else about the proposal and Betty White before we wrap this up?
Ryan, did you have any other problems with the movie? Was that mostly
No,
the
that was
chemistry?
really just it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to rom-coms, for me, anyway, if the 2 lead actors don't connect for me, then the whole thing's a wash. Pretty much.
I have such a dumb thing here. I don't know what that means. Like, I don't know that I've, like, seen a movie and thought, like, those actors connected. Because they had that moment in the movie where they, like, did the fake kiss. And then, like, fake kiss turned into, like, real kiss. And I was like, ooh, they like each other.
Yes.
And, like,
it's got to be
that, yeah.
more, like, if you were to watch, like, You've Got Mail or Sleepless in Seattle, or even Runaway Bride or Pretty Woman, those couplings have great chemistry because obviously they did multiple movies together, and then when you watch those movies, and then you watch one like the Proposal or Leap Year, you don't like. There's that chemistry that was there with those other films just aren't there for that one, and I don't know how else to explain it.
Is it like you can picture the actors then being friends, like, outside of the movie? Like,
Yeah.
they feel like they're, like, I don't know. I get it.
But at the same time, I could totally see Ryan Reynolds and
Sandra Bullock?
Sandra Bullock being friends.
For me,
I really can.
For me, it was, like, the moments when he was, like, singing, what was it, It Takes Two? On the floor, like, that kind of stuff. I really liked their chemistry there. Like, when she opened up a little bit, like, I thought that seemed pretty genuine.
When they're not playing off of the boss-employee relationship, I think that's where their chemistry really shines. Because that scene that you're talking about where he starts singing, that's kind of the turning point where they kind of step away from that and start to have more chemistry. But so much of the movie is relying on she's the boss, he's the employee. There's that conflict there, and I think it really, like, after that point, it kind of shifts and becomes something different and more entertaining to watch. Because the boss-employee thing kind of just gets old after a while.
You know, I did, though, enjoy when it was boss-employee relationship, but he was not calling the shots, but when he was essentially, like, in charge of it, where he was like, okay, like, you're going to make me editor now. Or like, oh no, she loves to carry her own luggage. She insists that she does.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was really, really funny and cleverly done because I was like, yeah, he's definitely got some power in here too because he has to fake this along with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought there were parts of it that were incredibly clever. I think I can get where you're coming from about the whole, like, lack of chemistry though. And I wonder if that's a script thing or if that's an actor thing because it seems like they made her like really like distant and really like I don't want any of this for like almost too long in the movie.
I don't think it has anything to do with the script. It could also just be the fact that it could be a number of things. Sure. It could be that maybe I didn't feel like the lines were given to each other or the way that their body language to each other was right. It could also be the fact that I just don't see those two as a couple.
Sure.
I don't see those two actors just fitting. Mm-hmm. It could be that, but like it had funny parts. It was clever. There were scenes that definitely worked. It's just overall is just one of those kind of things for me.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I definitely get it, especially because at the end when he like when like other girl was in the room with him, I was like, oh, okay, he's gonna go with her now because he loves her. And, like, I wasn't like, well, he obviously needs to go get Sandra Bullock. I was like, oh, no, he's free. He's like, I didn't his decision didn't make as much sense to me. So I guess you're right.
No, that's a trope in rom-coms.
Oh, is it?
Occasionally, yes.
See, that's something that I wouldn't know. So I mean, yeah, for me, I was like, oh, will they? Won't they? I don't know. I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
They just didn't like. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw the chat that people didn't like the gender swap trope, and I liked it.
Yeah. I mean, I think it works well. I think it works well for this film. I think the personalities of the known personalities of Ryan Reynolds and Sandra Bullock, especially looking at this years later, they're too similar for me that there's an issue with that. Like, I'm fine with them gender swapped. It's just the archetype of character they usually play is so similar that it doesn't mesh well.
Yeah, I can get that.
But yeah, I think that does it for our talk on the proposal and our tribute to Betty White. I do want to end the show by saying, if you want to pay tribute to Betty White, the best thing that you can do, we didn't really talk about it much on the show. She was a big animal rights activist. So if you're able, donate to your local humane society. That's probably the best way you can pay tribute to Betty White. She spent her whole career fighting for the rights of animals and treatment of animals, except for that cow in Lake Placid.
Which is, again, another reason why her character in that is hysterical.
Yeah. So if you can, make a donation, help out an animal in need. That being said, thank you, Betty White, for 99 years. Well, you know what? We're going to round up. 100 years 100. Of greatness. You will be missed. And thank you for being a friend.
Oh, nice.
On that note, Devon, what are you going to make us watch next week?
Ryan. Hey, Ryan. It's gonna be MacGruber.
I might just boycott the next episode.
Just drink plenty. I think you're going to have more fun with it than you think. And there's a TV show, so you can have more to watch afterwards.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it any better.
I think you're going to like it more than you think.
I think you are, too, considering who's involved behind the scenes. Because I know you like the other movie of theirs that we watched. Or two of them. I think you like both of the other movies. You'll find out next week. It's the guy, the guys from The Lonely Island directed it. The one who directed Rockstar or Popstar, Never Stop, Never Stopping, and and Hot Rod. They directed MacGruber.
Okay.
I think
it's a little bit more promising. Like, that much.
Jorma Tacombe, I think, is his name. He directed MacGruber. So yay! Okay. I'm excited. We get to watch MacGruber next week.
Good.
Yeah, so that'll be fun. Make sure to like us here on Facebook if you're watching live, to make sure you don't miss that episode. You can also, if you haven't already, follow us on our Twitch feed. We're trying to hit 50 followers by March, so go ahead and follow us over there. We're very close. We just need a few more. So if you haven't yet, go follow us on Twitch. You can like us on Instagram for fun stuff. I got something planned for a few weeks from now on Instagram that I need to talk to Devon about, because it's going to require his help. You can also listen to You Have to Watch This podcast on all major podcasting platforms: Apple Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, Audible. Like, I just double checked, we're still on Audible, so you can listen to us anywhere you get your podcasts. And until next time, for You Have to Watch This podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
And I'm Devon.
And you've all been pals and confidants. We will see you next week.